What's up, everybody? Just making a quick video on a really important message that I think a lot more people need to hear who are business owners. You know, I mean, obviously, if you haven't followed me at all, I help people start coaching businesses, but not everybody's ready to do that. So I don't preach it to everybody. I think most people in my audience actually will never buy something from me, which is great. It just means I can put my voice out there and not like worry about it, right? But in this video, I want to talk about how to stop thinking so hard and just start doing the things that grow the business. And I think, here's a thought: our brains love complexity. They love chewing on big problems. And sometimes even when there's no problem there, our brains make problems so that has things to chew on. And that right there, I think, is why a lot of beginners aren't making steady progress, is because A, they don't have something that is worth chewing on to chew on, so the brain makes something to chew on, and then it just keeps them stuck in this loop where you're beneath the current of any positive progress even happening in your life or your business, because you're chewing on things that don't even matter. And the second thing is they don't know what the priorities should be or what they should even be focusing on or doing. And then because they don't know what they should be focusing on or doing, they're not thinking about how to do those things better and then going and doing those things better. They're just thinking. So in this video, I want to talk about how to eliminate the mental death spiral that I think has so many people caught in its trap, and alleviate it for you permanently in just a few short minutes. So I'm processing the way that I need to tell you this to get you to commit to watching this whole video, because I know how important this was for me when I was just getting started, and how badly I wish I would have understood this. So if you could just take that as a plea to just watch this whole video, that would be great. So I'll start here with my story and what I discovered. So I was 17, 18, and I got introduced into some neuro-linguistic programming, as well as like some self-image psychology. Psycho-Cybernetics is by far the best book to start with on these topics, and it got me obsessed with how our brains function, and how where you are is pretty much just a direct downstream effect from the thoughts you've planted in your head, and how they've cascaded out into belief systems, actions, habits, and loops and cycles that you live in. And a very common one for me at the time that I wasn't aware of, I was awoken to, was just how clinging my brain was on problems that didn't even matter. Okay, so your brain makes so many mountains out of molehills and creates unnecessary mental, you're extending energy into thinking about problems that don't even serve you before you're even actually taking action to solve problems that would serve you. So what I want to start with in this video is a framework for how to ask what you need to do next, and how to actually identify what you need to do next. And we're going to start doing this by starting with the end. So in order to know what you need to do next, you need to start with where you want to be. So where do you want to be? And this is often the hardest thing for anybody to do, is to honestly say where they want to be and why. And this is actually quite hard. Some people think this is the easy part. This is sometimes often the hardest part. Where do you want to be? And I want to encourage you to pause the video right now and write it down. This is where I want to be. Okay, done. Next step, why do you want to be there? What would it mean for you to be there? Write that down. And then take a second and just feel it as if it were already done. Feel it as if it were already real. All of the emotions, all of the sensations, feel it right there. Okay, done. Now that we've done this, and you should have paused the video and gone and done this. Now that we've done these things, we're going to work backwards from that outcome and simply ask, where are we now? And have just a very rigid clinical assessment of our current, where we are now, compared to the place we're trying to get, the outcome we'd like to see achieved in our life. And we're just going to assess. So if you were to break that place down, the thing that you want to be at, down to 3 major components, what would you say those are? 3 things that if you did them consistently would make it unreasonable that you don't have that thing. What would that be? Write it down. This is a question you got to ask yourself right now. If I were to boil down this place to 3 major focuses, right? What would those focuses be? And then another question is, how am I certain that these are the right 3 focuses? And if you're not certain, then maybe you need to do some more discovery and get in closer proximity to people who do have those answers. Okay? Next, what you're going to do is you're going to look at where you are now in those 3 areas. Where am I? Am I good? Am I bad? Am I scale 1 to 10? Am I at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Where am I on the scale of each of these things? Assess. This is just a process of personal assessment. Now that we've done these things, we've assessed where we are, we know where we are, it's time to build a plan and put it on paper what we're going to do in the next 12 months to raise the bar of where we are on these things. And what's so powerful about this simple exercise is most people never do it, or if they do it, it's done in the wrong context in their life. They just do it for funsies or like on the side or whatever. They don't actually think and realize that they have the power to create whatever they want whenever they want, right? So they don't do these things. And the second is they don't really know what they want, so they don't think to write it down and make it a thing. And the third is they believe that they don't deserve the things that they want. But I'm here to tell you that whether you feel you deserve them or not, you can do the actions that are in accordance to that thing and get it. And this was very important for me to realize because I used to deal with a lot of self-hatred, a lot of very, very hard internal dialogues that really didn't serve me. A good book on this is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. Really good book on this topic. And that dialogue prevented me from feeling worthy of those things. And I used to think I needed to feel worthy to have it. There's some truth to that. I do agree that it makes the beginning stages easier, because if you feel like it's a worthy, it's a given, then that work becomes a lot easier. But even if you don't feel like you're worthy of it, you can still just act in accordance with the things that are necessary to have that thing. So that's how we build a plan, is we decide where we want to be, break it into chunks of 3 major focuses, look at those 3 focuses, assess where we are on those 3 focuses, and honestly judge ourselves, just an honest self-assessment, and we build a plan of what we're going to do between now and the next 12 months to get there. Now, guess what? Your brain, if you let it, will go back into chewing on unneeded steps, problems, unresolved emotional solutions. It won't go back into the mode of it won't stay automatically in the cycle of thinking through how to get down these next steps that you've planned out for yourself, right? Does it make sense? You have to keep it on that track. So what you're going to do is you're going to hang up this thing that you've made. You've written this out on a piece of paper, hang it up in your environment, keep it near you to keep yourself on pace, keep yourself on track. Because your brain, again, it loves a battle. Your brain loves a battle. It loves to cling to things. It loves, like very emotionally immature people. This is why they love drama, which I can't stand drama. But I think it's people who need something of some meaning in their life. That's like a very low resolution sort of manifestation of this principle that the brain loves like complexities, that like very emotionally immature people love drama. Your brain's the same exact way, man. So now that you've gotten it on a clear path, put this in your environment and say, brain, we're not doing anything else, we're doing this. And what you got to do now is you have to practice just mindfulness throughout your days and just keep your brain focused on the outcome. And it's really uncomfortable because your brain loves its loops. Your brain loves living in a cyclical place where life is easy. You know, you might not have what you want. You might not be where you want to be. You might not be who you want to be. You might not be dating who you want to date or running the business you want to run or anything, but it is easy. And the brain wants easy. It wants the least resistance possible. It wants the path of least resistance. And so if you allow it to go back into old patterns, it will go back into old patterns. You have to be conscious and aware of when it's trying to do that and make a change. In those little moments when it tries to pull you back into old patterns, stop it, make a change. And this is the process of growth and maturing, is setting an aim, working backwards from the aim with clarity of why the aim is important in the first place, and using that why as fuel to mentally correct ourselves as we fall off target and fall off track, this clear course we've designed for ourselves. So this is how we stop the thinking process and move it into an action process. This is how we stop the process of mental cyclical thought loops that do nothing for us and get us into action mode. It's by setting a clear thing that matters to us, building a plan, and keeping ourselves on it. And I promise it's only hard for a couple weeks, and then it gets really fun because you're actually making progress. And what's nice is the progress itself becomes the reward. So it becomes this like feedback loop where, because you're doing it, at the start you're doing it and there's no reward, but then you start to do it and there's a little bit of reward, and that little bit of reward feels so good that doing it gets so much easier. But you have to get beyond that 3 to 4 week period where there's not a lot of reward, and that's the trick. And a lot of people never even do that. So I hope that this video has been meaningful, impactful, and valuable for you.